Welcome everybody to the Cincy Stripe Show. We're changing it from the podcast more to the show just because we're going to be more on a live basis going forward.
Sounds better.
Yeah, for sure it does.
Rolls up that tongue nice.
Yeah. If anyone's watching and if our audio is messed up because we are trying something new here, this is just temporary how our mics are set up, but we just want to get in the new studio, start setting things up. We got everything behind the camera ready to set up. We just want to just get in here and get rolling.
Yeah, excited for a new beginning, somewhere new. Just makes it feel a little more kind of, obviously not professional, but
something more permanent, stable. Not having to tear down each week, set it all up, being able to kind of have our own little thing, our own gimmicks. This is the last week. The wall will be blank. We'll have some stuff hanging up and everything like that. But it is exciting, from where we started to the broken blinds and in the common area to having our own little area for it. So just the beginning for us, really.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna get the helmets hung up here. We're gonna get everything set up. It's gonna look a whole lot nicer.
Kind of picturing like a Cincy Stripes LED
light.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool, like right in the middle of the wall.
I bet somebody on TikTok shop makes it.
Well, I'm sure.
Maybe we can find someone to do it. Who knows? But we're just going to try to keep it short here. It is kind of late. I know it's late for everyone on a Thursday night. People got work in the morning, and we, got off work ourselves not too long ago. And we just want to get something out there for you guys. And
it's just kind of in the dead of the off season right now, like right before free agency is about to start. The combines next weekend, which we will be at. It's just trying to not force like stuff to talk about. It's just we're just going to talk about targets that the Bengals should go after in free agency and the draft.
I mean, the rumor mill is like on fire right now. Like who's signing who's franchise tagging who, where does this guy want to go? Does he want to play on this team? He unfollowed him on Instagram.
Did Fields come out and say that was just because like he didn't want any like that football on there?
I don't know.
He said he didn't want to be around football, like because he had to go on vacation, so he didn't want to be around football. He said he made a joke to one of the St. Brown brothers. I forget what.
I think on their podcast.
He's like, just because you don't follow the girl on Instagram doesn't mean you ain't messing with her, which is kind of funny to say. But he just doesn't want to be around football, which is understandable, I guess, when you go on vacation.
Plus, like, imagine all that stress. Like, you're still a very young quarterback on your rookie contract. Bears have the first pick. Like all the speculation on drafting a quarterback, so your future's uncertain. Might get traded. Like
he's not coming back.
Like he probably just wants a little bit of a break anyway. Like I feel like
he added, like, he's like, you either see, keep Justin, get rid of Justin, draft Caleb. He mentioned that too in it. So that definitely plays a part.
That's just playing mind games on your head. Like,
yeah.
Justin, it's just like, why would I want to see all that stuff on my timeline constantly? Like, the fan base doesn't really want me here. It's like, well, obviously some of them probably do, but most of them.
I would say it's probably like a 70-30 split.
But he was like talking about the Atlanta Falcons and saying that their weapons are crazy and stuff. So I'm hoping that's where he goes because that's where I think he'd be a great fit. That and I want to root for him. So I'm not wanting him to go to Pittsburgh. I think there was a sleeper team. I think Seattle was maybe in on him or somebody was in on him.
It was Minnesota.
Minnesota actually would be a nice fit if you keep Jefferson. Otherwise, then he has no weapons.
I mean, Addison and Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's true.
Minnesota wouldn't be a bad spot. I think I like Atlanta more for him than any other destination. Just for him.
Yeah, I know. If he went to Atlanta, I think it'd be a great fit compared to the other ones. Like putting him in the offensive scheme in Pittsburgh, I just don't think would really fit well. Like him, and they're not cutting Pickett, so it's like
they want to battle, yeah.
Yeah, so then it's like kind of toxic there. It's like.
Yeah, but more to Bengals stuff. The Bengals are getting new turf. Stuff like field core or field turf core or something like that. Same field as like the Seahawks and Jets and Falcons and practice field of the Packers. So, I mean, a lot of ups and downs with the news.
Yeah.
Do you think the players prefer turf or grass?
Well, the players have already voted that they want grass, but
they didn't listen to that.
NFL wants turf. That's what the NFL wants.
Burrow said that he just wants – I think it was a long interview a little bit ago, but he just wants, uniformity. Like, he said that's more important than anything is, playing on the consistent field, every week, playing on the same thing, getting ready, adapting to that every week, going from grass to turf. It's probably harder than just playing on turf every week because, your body's adjusting. Obviously, injuries are still prominent on turf. Obviously, the studies show that, but I think he was just more of the lines of, you can kind of adapt your body to like playing on the same surface every week.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like with the Thursday night football thing. Like players don't want Thursday night football unless they're coming off of a bye week.
Yep.
Which I think the NFL should move to. Like if you play Thursday night football, you shouldn't be playing the previous Sunday because the wear and tear you put on your body
100%.
is quite a bit, and we've seen multiple players.
Was our field heated before or no?
Our field was heated. Yeah.
So is it? Still
It should be. It's
heated?
gonna. It should be. It's gonna remain heated.
What about the logo on midfield?
Yeah. What do you think?
Me. I want to keep the B. I'm one of those people.
You want the B?
I like the B.
I kind of want the tiger, the leaping tiger back.
That's majority vote.
I think it'll stay the B, but I love to see the leaping tiger back out there.
It would be cool if you could change it up, everyone, like just like not constantly, but like between like the ones we've had in the past, just kind of change it up.
I get it from like a business aspect, the B, because like the Bengals have branded to the B, so like everything Bengals is start with the B, obviously. But just as like a fan, I want the tiger.
For sure.
I get both sides. I see both sides, but
Was that when we moved to the B 2012? I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
2012.
yeah.
Dalton played with the leaping tiger.
we had 1 year, not 1 year, but it's been, what's that,
13 years.
13 years since we have had the Leaping Tiger, which we haven't used the Leaping Tiger in any like promotional. Like the last time we used it was for our Color Rush, I think, really for promotional stuff. Because we kind of moved away from the Tiger, but we'll see if we bring it back or not, which I don't think we will. If any, I think we'd see a new logo before getting that Leaping Tiger back.
Yeah.
Just because they moved away from it for a reason, whether they wanted to get more modernized or not. But
I think that's what it was, just rebranded, more of like a business look with the B. Like you kind of seen that around the league, like all the teams kind of like
simplicity is kind of
simplified. If I could talk,
yeah.
their logos and their looks. I mean, even with the jersey look, I mean, there's not as many like Pittsburgh too with the Bumblebee jerseys. Like kind of just more of like a black and white jerseys now. It's more of
well, it's like the Jets are getting new uniforms, and I'm pretty sure their uniforms are just going to be their classic uniforms from like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah,
kind of like their current throwback.
They're white. They're white and green.
I'm pretty sure they're just moving to that as their main uniforms. The Texans are getting new uniforms. I heard Seattle's getting new uniforms. So I imagine Seattle needs new uniforms out of all those teams. Seattle badly needs it because they got those in 2012 when the Nike rollover came.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they looked cool in 2012 and then on to like 2015, 2016. And then you're like, it's not really fitting in this league anymore.
Yeah.
Which I think they're still nice, but their throwbacks that they wore this year were sick. I love the throwbacks.
They have cool colors to work with. Like,
yeah,
you could come up with some really cool jersey concepts for them.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Texans too. I think the Texans are moving to their all red helmet, probably their main helmet.
I love that helmet.
That would be sweet.
Definitely a good looking helmet.
Be pretty nice.
But on your guys' free agency list, who do you guys want the most? I put it out on a tweet earlier this week that I wanted Chris Jones over anyone. If we don't get Chris Jones, I want Matabuke. Matabuke is like the second defensive tackle I want, just because he's young. He had 13 sacks last year. I think he can really develop into a really, really good player.
Yeah. Go ahead. Offensively, I've been seeing a lot of like Bengals fans on Twitter saying Trenton Brown. If you can go get him, get him. I'm not sure how you guys know how
he's
old.
30.
30. Yeah. So obviously you wouldn't want to sign him for like a long-term deal, but I think he's a proven vet for sure. And in the Burrow era, we kind of want somebody who's going to be there for a couple years, maybe not long term, but somebody that we could bring in to be an instant starter and then still draft in the, say second, third round, a tackle to develop behind him maybe. But I would say him or I don't know. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I wouldn't even mind bringing Jonah back and drafting a tackle.
Yeah.
But
even if you sign Trenton Brown, you could still draft a tackle early just because he is 30. But
I want the Trenton Brown, New England's right tackle.
Yep.
Who is the other guy in New England?
Michael Onwenu.
That's who I want. Is he just straight guard though?
No, he plays.
That's what I want. I don't know how to say
Onwenu.
I want Onwenu, and then I really want Matabuke, like you said. Like obviously Chris Jones is the dream. I just don't think the Bengals are going to pay him that much. I think the Chiefs are either going to pay him.
I don't think the Chiefs can, honestly.
You think so?
I mean, my thing is, I think the Chiefs would offer him $20 million. I don't think the Bengals offering him $20 million would bring him away. I think the only team that he would take less money for would be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Honestly, just being honest.
I said Chris Jones in a sense of like the salary cap went up by a lot more than I thought it would. We were fifth most in salary cap. So we have money to spend. If we bring T back, we still have a lot of leftover money. So I think we need to sign Michael Wynn. He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
He
so
can
much
play
more
guard. You can draft tackle. So you can do whatever you want if you sign Michael Wynn, especially because he's 26. He can play guard and tackle. So that covers your basis for 4 offensive line spots because he can play left and right tackle.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I wanted him, because his versatility. And then if you can get him, I don't know how much he's was one, but if you can get him and then maybe like 2, maybe not low tier of the D tackles, but 2
like Tier Tart or Jamon Kinlaw if he gets
like 2 mid tiers.
Kinlaw would be sweet.
2 mid tiers of them, and then I kind of want us to bring in like a veteran safety. But at the same time, I don't know what their plan is with Dax. If they plan on moving Dax to like the slot or something, I could still like see us bringing in a veteran safety just for a 1-year deal to kind of help.
Is it Geno Stone a free agent?
And Eddie. I don't know about Eddie Jackson, but I know his name. He's a free agent.
He's old.
He's older. That's why I said just for 1 year though, just like a veteran guy to help out.
Any vet that's played high caliber would be beneficial to Battle and Hill, no matter if they were getting low rep snaps.
But Eddie Jackson, I mean, he can't be expecting like a big contract.
No.
So I mean, that's one thing you got to work with is just. But like once free agency starts, I want these visits to start rolling in. I want Tart. I want these guys coming on visits.
Yeah.
At least get them in for visits so that you show your fans that you are wanting to take the defense to another level.
Yeah, my thing is too, like you got the money. Like obviously it's money's there. Why not use it?
Yeah.
You want to have as many holes filled as you can before the draft because you don't want to rely on the draft to fill all those holes. Yep. You want to have your roster kind of set and then the draft to like boost it on top of it. Because once you start drafting to fill holes for right away necessities, it's kind of when it gets risky. It's when guys don't pan out. You're kind of like, oh shit.
I mean, you think you look back at the NFL this year and you're like, well, the NFL as a whole was a down year. Almost, every team had like a bad stretch.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen every year. I don't think it's going to happen next year. I think next year is going to be a battle to the end, like how we thought this year was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm pretty sure, like the Chargers are going to be up and up. The Raiders, they apparently have the blueprint to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Michael Jordan clips.
We'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Taking it easy on them next year. Then.
No, Chiefs definitely.
They're
probably going to roll.
Score up.
Because Chiefs are probably drafting wide receiver first round, so they're just going to get better on the offensive side of the ball. And the Bengals, your time to strike is now in the next 2 to 3 years.
Stop being scared to spend their money. But at the same time, I want us to spend the money, but I don't want us to take snaps away from Battle. Like how I was saying, bringing a veteran safety. At the same time, I only want that if they have a plan with Dax. I don't want Battle to get snaps taken from him.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think
but at the same time you need depth.
I think Battle, honestly, out of him and Dax, just the way they play, I think, and the Bengals system with Lou, Battle will see the field more than Dax if they bring in a veteran safety.
You think so? I just don't.
I just the way they play.
I think they do that is because he was our first rounder, so I don't think that they would.
Yeah, but they're at the point now I think it's where it's more like who's playing better. And I mean, Dax played good, and obviously he's still young, but there was a couple games there where he dropped some big interceptions. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Not saying that he wasn't great. I mean, he showed flashes, obviously. I mean, and if he's able to move to slot, I think he would excel there.
My big thing is pass rush. You have to bolster that pass rush unit. You have to get better up front. That's why I say guys like Chris Jones, Matt Buke, guys that can really just tear it up. I want to draft Devondre Sweat if we can, draft Byron Murphy if we can. Anyone. I don't think Newton's going to fall to us, unfortunately. At 18,
that would be sweet though.
The surgery stuff is coming out.
We need drive enders, guys who are going to go get you that third or second in the long sack, third in the long sack.
Trey can't be the only one out there working. You know what I mean? Yeah. But another thing is Miles Murphy. I feel like he's going to have a big year, big sophomore year.
He was coming along. He was
he was getting there.
As his snaps went up, his production was going up.
Which that's why I think we need to restructure Hubbard. I'm not saying I mentioned cutting Hubbard one day, but I definitely restructure him.
Twitter was high on that this week. Was talking about that Hubbard being a potential cut candidate. I'm not. I think they just are going to restructure or hopefully restructure.
Yeah, I don't want to cut him. I'd restructure him. I think he's he has value. I don't want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the pass rush, he's just
Because
not
people
really
were like
there.
putting the rankings of, I don't remember, obviously, like he wasn't
Like who to cut.
Yeah, like saying Hubbard's rank. They were like posting Hubbard's
Oh, I
rankings and
gotcha.
why we should cut him. I don't.
He's
think-
really good in the run game. Like he's very valuable in the run game.
And
It's
he had
just,
his
yeah, I mean-
spurts. Was it 2 years ago of where he was starting to show pass rush, or was it? This
I mean, he had.
it was this year. He was at the beginning of the year.
I think last year too, he was pretty good at the
And
pass
this year,
rush.
it just kind of like he not fell off, but didn't take steps forward like we really want to see, like more and more, like progressively getting better.
Yeah.
Like we want to see.
They need to platoon their defensive ends. Besides Hendrickson, he's the only one that needs to be out there the whole game.
I think we talked about it last episode. We don't want them to like everybody to be homers because Hubbard's a Ohio State guy. Like we want to win. If we want to be a winning team, we have to be willing to make those moves. So
Well, it's like people, make decisions with their heart instead of their head.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, and I get it. I mean, obviously, he's from Cincinnati, went to Moeller, and then
winning teams just have to be willing to make those moves. Like not scared to maybe not cut them, but like take some snaps away from them and say, hey, you need to get better or you're going to start losing your snaps.
Just play him to his strengths.
Exactly. Like I think we talked about maybe move him inside, try him inside or something. But
Well, if you ever run, 5 down linemen, I just kick them inside.
mm-hmm.
Have Murphy do the end, and
I hope
See what
losing his bag this offseason. Just like, it wasn't working last season, so I want to try some new things here and there. But I think a lot of guys who maybe didn't have their best season, I don't think that's going to happen again. We have some ball players on the defensive side, like obviously Pratt and Wilson didn't have their best year statistically. I don't think that happens again.
Yeah, that'll happen. Like we've talked about losing Vaughn, both of our starting safeties
Yeah.
in the last year. Like that takes a big part because you have more to cover or more. You have to communicate more and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like
I just don't think like some of the woes that plague the Bengals defense this season will be back as strong this season, especially if we come into this draft and not free agency and fill those holes. You just got to hope that our playmakers continue to get better.
My worry is like everyone's like relying on Burrow to be like the one to ruin the three-peat for the Chiefs, but it's like we gotta bolster that offensive line. We gotta solidify that right tackle spot. We gotta get a pass rush. We
start from
gotta
trenches.
like our offensive defensive line need to be top 10, top 5
Oh, yeah.
if we want to compete against the Chiefs. I mean, we saw them dominate. Their defense dominated this year, so that's the only reason why they were really in games because their defense was top 5. That's what we need.
Keep Mahomes in the game. And
You look at like Brady's dynasty run, that like the Patriots dynasty run they had. Like it wasn't because of Tom Brady mostly. I mean,
Yeah, they had top 12 defenses.
like their defenses were insane. That's what we need. We need to really bolster this defense up and protect Burrow. And I don't understand the whole cut Joe Mixon thing either for to save money and start Chase Brown.
For his price, you're not going to find another guy with that production.
No, I mean you look at some of the free agents like Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be cheaper. Josh Jacobs is going to be way too expensive. Kareem Hunt, I'm not a big fan of him anymore. AJ Dillon, I think he kind of runs with dead legs. With what you're getting with Joe Mixon for the price we have him at, you're not going to get anywhere else.
So that's what I mean. Like he had 1,400 and something all-purpose yards. Like
And that's not being like a homer towards Joe Mixon either. It's just he produces with a bad offensive line. He produces with bad gaps. And everyone's looking at like the yards after contact, but like you have to realize this team as a whole.
He's getting hit in the backfield though. Like,
Yeah.
It's hard to really make something happen when you're getting touched behind the line of scrimmage.
Like granted, you can say like Joe Mixon's not what he used to be, but he should definitely split time with Chase Brown and split carries, but I don't think you should cut. I just let him finish off his contract.
Yeah, I'm not on cut Mixon fan.
Yeah, I'm on the team. Like I said, where I think we should. I want to see that for a full season. The Chase Brown, the Joe Mixon duo, and then I'm not against still drafting it because drafting Mixon's replacement for next year. So it's whoever we draft, and then Chase Brown for the years to come. Do you think we take one in top like 3 or 4 rounds, or do you think it might depend on what we do in free agency?
I don't unless they cut Mixon, but I don't think we draft a running back in the top 3 rounds. No.
And that's my thing with if we cut Mixon, I don't feel confident going into next season with a rookie running back and Chase Brown.
Now, if round 3 gets there and Braylon Allen's still there, I'd be like,
That's who I took.
I
on
would
my
be like,
mock- my
take him,
most
but
recent mock draft.
I think there's way bigger needs for the Bengals than a running
Yeah.
back in the third round, because this draft you're going to get you can get a day one starter in the third round.
Oh yeah, there's the top 3 rounds. Like outside of the top 3 rounds, I'm not sure a lot of guys' names, but if you can get some, that's the thing with, like, if we're not going to keep T, or if you want to do the tag and trade, get some picks for the first couple rounds, like maybe that Cardinals deal. If we're not going to keep T, I think we're going to keep T for at least this year and try to make one more run at it. Like I was telling Gary earlier, I heard on a podcast that they played like 100. Burrow, Chase, and T played like 130 snaps total together. And in those, they were ranked first in almost every like statistical category. And we went 3-0 on that run against the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Bills. And that was a big stretch. And the offense looked amazing that stretch.
I think, Jordan, did you say the only thing about paying like the receivers and Burrow, like being the 3 of the top 5 highest paid, you just don't want to be like the Colts, like with Manning and Reggie?
Yeah, you look at like Reggie Wayne, like Peyton Manning was 30 years old. He won his first Super Bowl, and they had Edgerrin James and Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. Like in Dallas Clark. You look at you get one Super Bowl from that. I don't want obviously we'll celebrate one Super Bowl. We'll be thankful for that. But after that, after you get that first Super Bowl, after you get that, what do I want next year? I want another Super Bowl.
They had 7 straight years winning like 12 games.
Like, I know, like, as a fan base, we can't really talk because we don't have the Super Bowls to really back anything up. But like, we're still hungry for Super Bowls. We still want those championships. And like, if we like, I know, I have like the same mindset of Burrow. Like it's just you gotta win. That's all that's important is winning football and winning. That's the way Peyton Manning felt too. And he didn't win another Super Bowl until a couple years into Denver, where his defense was the number 1 defense in the league. And they went to 2 Super Bowls with that top 5 defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really have the weapons in Denver like he did with the Colts, but he went to 2 more Super Bowls with Denver. So, I mean, it's kind of you look at Patrick Mahomes. He had Rashee Rice this year as his main target. And he had, obviously you have Travis Kelce, but Travis Kelce down year was still like a very good
playoff. Yeah, but in the
still
playoffs,
great tight end
he
here.
turns up in the playoffs, though.
Yeah. But when I mean, like, Patrick Mahomes has a couple all-pro linemen, all-pro defensive players. Andy Reid, he's offensive play caller, awesome. So that's just like the leaps the Bengals need to make. Obviously, we have the quarterback set. We have mostly the offense set other than like that right tackle and maybe that left guard spot. In the defense, you got to get better on the defensive line. Linebackers got to step up this year. Jordan Battle and Dax Hill, I think, are primed for breakout seasons. Young corners like DJ Turner, Cam Taylor-Britt, they're just going to get better as they play. Mike Hilton, he's on the aging side of the ball, and he's starting to slow down a little bit, but he's still a veteran guy who knows what to do, who can read out plays and stop the run. So I love Mike Hilton, and we have the keys.
We're a few pieces away.
We just need to air up the tires. You know what I mean?
We got to be aggressive this offseason.
Yep. And I say, like, we have the luxury car. We have it. It's Joe Burrow. Our ownership trusts him. It's just you gotta put some spinners on them rims. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you need to show up and flare, but you need to show up and work.
Do you guys see us signing like any of these free agent receivers I put on here? Like maybe just for a year to kind of like, maybe it doesn't have to be those guys, or do you see us maybe taking the path of just drafting another one? But I kind of want another veteran since Boyd's gone, or do you think they're wanting to see Charlie Jones and Yoshi take another step and trust them that much?
If we do end up tagging T, I could see us maybe drafting one later on. I don't think we would bring in a receiver though.
Because I had some names on here that I was thinking might be good for a year, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I see us doing that. I see us probably drafting another receiver, like at a certain point, because this is the 4th year. Like every 4 years, Duke Tobin takes a receiver. It's like 2012, he took Sanu. 16, he took Boyd. 20, obviously, I don't know who he took in 20. It's like second round. He's been taking. Oh, it was. I didn't think it was 2020 for some reason. But T. Higgins in 2020, so now it's 2024. Do we stick with that pattern and take a receiver in the second round? But I don't see us I don't know if I want to see us take a receiver that early with kind of bigger needs and with the guys in this draft. Obviously, I wouldn't mind because there's a lot of stud receivers in this draft. It's a heavy receiver draft, at least that from the outside. But What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know. Sitting here and thinking about it, like I don't know who I'd want from the free agent class, just because I mean, most of them are decent at best. I trust more in developing Yoshibach or Charlie Jones than
Bringing in like one of them guys
Gabe
with
Davis
bigger
is such
snaps and
a
stuff.
Gabe Davis is such a big game or no game.
I mean, as a third option,
That's what I mean. As a third
I get it, but like,
As
I
a
don't-
third option, you might
I
as well
think
just bring
that
back Tyler Boyd at that rate.
yeah, I mean, the only thing you'd be getting with Gabe Davis would probably be, I mean, just more speed. But yeah,
Like a lot of people have said Kurt Samuel, bringing Kurt Samuel. Like I've been seeing that in a lot of the mock off-season things I showed you guys, the mock GM. Like a lot of people have us picking up Curtis Samuel for like cheap, and I just maybe they want to put him in the slot and kind of rotate him with Charlie and Yoshi or something. And obviously you want depth because receivers kind of go down for us, especially like throughout the year. But I don't know. I just put those in there because I didn't know how we would think about that. You guys see us bringing in like a corner since Owuzi's a free agent, like a veteran corner to kind of help out, or do you think to the draft again?
I would hope we'd field some calls,
Yeah,
try to bring somebody in, but I think we draft a corner for sure.
I can see them bringing in a corner from free
to like
agency.
replace kind of Owuzi's spot. I don't see us bringing Owuzi back
Well,
coming off.
I don't
the
want to say
ACL.
replace his spot. I want to say just
Like-
be a good backup.
Rotation, maybe not.
Because you have Britt out there.
And
You'll have
DJ Turner will probably be
Turner.
the outsides, and then Hilton's in the slot.
Yeah, those are your outside guys. Hilton in the slot, or
And then maybe
even Dax Hill.
How long do you think Ivy's out? Because Ivy was showing us some stuff in these games, and then
that
he got
Colts
hurt.
game. It was
It was
Colts
like the
game.
last
He was
game of the
looking
year,
really
one of the last
good, yeah.
games.
And he tore his ACL, which kills.
So he probably will miss like the beginning. He'll probably start on the PUP list or the IR, not PUP, whatever. Like misses, like you've missed 4 games. The IR, I believe.
Yeah. I hope he comes back and is able to, do good. That's
He'll
what I'm
play to that
hoping.
level
I think
because they were obviously starting to see some trust.
and he
in that.
looks good. But going back to like the receivers, and they took Charlie did what, 4th rounds, and that they
Yeah, 4th or 5th, one
I
of
think it
those
was
rounds.
4th. I think they drafted him high for a reason. I mean, he was one of the better receivers
Mhm.
Where he played, and I don't know who's going to be the slot. I don't think it's going to be Yoshibach.
That's why, because they like him on the outside.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Charlie-
why I didn't know if they wanted to bring in a guy to rotate with Charlie or like kind of
I mean,
like
Charlie
give him some
Jones
competition.
Played on the outside at Purdue. I mean, he can probably do both. I'd rather see him in the slot.
Yeah,
I think Yoshi's your next outside guy. If someone was to go out for a couple of plays
Yeah.
or something like that.
If we do get rid of Mixon, which running back do you think would you guys want to bring in?
None at that point. I hope we would draft someone.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, if you're getting rid of Mixon, you might as well go big and try to get Josh Jacobs or
That's
Derrick
what I'm
Henry or
saying.
something like that. You can't. If you're going to get rid of Mixon, then you better go for
I can
someone
see it.
significantly better than Joe Mixon.
If we're getting rid of Mixon, I can see us like we're wanting to make big moves and like actually like fully upgrade because you obviously see like, oh, great fit. Like people are posting like the Saquon and stuff, and it's like, oh, that would be awesome. But I can only see that if we're cutting Mixon and we're cutting like some people are talking about cutting maybe BJ Hill, and I'm like, why would we want to cut BJ Hill? Like I don't
Yeah,
understand.
when
that.
pass rushes are interior pass rushes are big issue. It's like, that's my biggest thing. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl. Both their tackles sucks,
Mhm.
but their defense carried them. I think if the Bengals can do the same thing, like their right tackle doesn't be like the best.
Oh no, yeah,
Get
that's the
interior-
thing. Like I think we could have won with our offensive line last year, but like
pass rush.
like I've said several times, even if Joe Burrow stayed healthy, we're not winning a game in the playoffs just because our defense. Say we had to go play the Texans. Is CJ Stroud going to tear us up again? How he did previously?
Just
what I
step up
mean.
in the pocket.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do.
You have no interior rush. So I mean, that's honestly like you look at our Super Bowl loss. Interior rush beat us. It was Aaron Donald to Joe Burrow.
It came down to the 4 like best players on the field: the Ramsey versus Jamar and the Aaron Donald like coming for Joe Burrow.
Yep. So I mean, you look at Chris Jones in that AFC Championship game last year. He beat up Adeniji when Adeniji was playing right tackle. Ended our season right there. So I want it to be our turn to where our guys like Trey Hendrickson or say we get Savondre Sweat or Matabuke or whoever, is on that line, you can make that impact in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, you know what I mean, to win, games. That's what we need.
That's why I'm not against going defensive tackle with our first pick.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can get Newton or Murphy or
That's
Sweat.
that's why like signing a guy like Michael Wenu would be so huge for us, just because he can play guard and he can start at right tackle.
Take the pressure off.
And your first round pick can be whatever you want. Quite literally can be whatever you want. It could be right tackle if you didn't sign him to a long-term deal. But if you have a guy like Jazon Newton or Savondre Sweat or Brian Murphy, someone there, you have to take them. I'm not on the Brock Bowers train like everyone else, just because I don't think tight end is our biggest need. I think we can.
Really.
I think if he's there at 18,
if our offense, utilize tight ends, I would say, yeah, let's get Brock Bowers.
Ben Sinnott, though.
If we get Ben Sinnott later in the draft, I like him.
Amazing.
And another thing, like in the third or fourth round, I would love to see us take like Bo Limmer, the center.
Yeah,
I would love to take him. He had a really good Senior Bowl, really good week there. I would love, Ted Karras is only getting older. You know what I mean? I love that guy to death. Repping Cincy hats, but you gotta. I don't want to find replacements after they're gone.
You gotta be proactive.
Yeah, like Jonah Williams. I wish we kind of had a contingency plan for him.
Yeah, because he has the leverage. I mean, not that I think we're going to pay him what he really wants, but he does have that kind of like, well, I guess you're going to have to bring somebody else in.
And all respect to Jonah Williams. I really love what he did here. He worked hard. He really did. He tried. But I do think, kind of like with our Brian Callahan conversation, I think it is time for a fresh face on that offensive line. And
he deserves one too. I mean, he's a left tackle that transitioned to right tackle for us. Like, go play left tackle somewhere. They're gonna let you.
Go to the Chiefs. Go replace Donovan Smith. You know what I mean?
Hate to see him go there, but
Yeah.
if he did, good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be the type of guys to, bash on people's careers because they want to leave.
Like, it's a business.
It's T. Higgins. If he leaves, so it's business.
It's their jobs. Like,
we'll be fine. So, if, like, say he goes to Tennessee, or I'll be rooting for T unless he goes to Kansas City.
or a division rival.
Yeah, which I don't think he'd go to a division rival, but Chiefs could offer him a lot of money. But
money talks.
Money does talk, but they don't. They got Snead to pay. They got Chris Jones.
I think they're going to tag Snead and try to pay Chris Jones because I think wasn't Chris Jones just tagged last year.
Yeah, Chris
Chris
Jones has proven he would sit out too if he's not paid.
So he's either going to get. They know they have to pay him, or obviously they're just going to let him walk. But I think they're going to tag Snead to keep him and McDuffie because that's a gross corner duo. Keep them for at least one more year to try to get that three-peat. But back to your point, I was listening to Locked On Bengals. Shout out to them. They were saying you don't want to tie yourself down to you have to take this position. Like, go into free agency, be aggressive, get those guys, so then you can go kind of best player available. Like, say like somebody I don't even know, but say like one of the top end guys are there, but guess what? That's not the position we actually we need for sure because we didn't take anybody. We didn't pick anybody up in free agency that.
Tackle.
Yeah, you're reaching on a position. We don't want to be in that position where we're reaching on.
Yeah, I don't want to get Tyler Guyton at 18 if he's not worth the 18th pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if we sign like Michael Winu or Illumino or something like a tackle, or we sign a defensive tackle, you know what I mean? Then you can kind of go like, well, is Kool-Aid there at pick 18? Is Teron Arnold there at pick 18? Nate Wiggins, you know what I mean? Maybe I don't know, sneak in Jeremiah Trotter. I like him as a linebacker prospect.
That's one of those edge guys.
I mean, Chop Robinson. Latu. I mean, you have a lot of options if you make moves in free agency here. Like, you say T. Higgins doesn't come back, but we sign a defensive tackle, right tackle in free agency, then you can kind of get a guy like Keon Coleman or I don't think Adunes is going to be there at 18, but
never know.
Yeah.
All the quarterbacks just go before us. All the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
More quarterbacks, the better for us.
Penix needs to slide in that top 15 range. So
needs to slide up.
Yeah.
McCarthy's been rising.
I mean, I've been seeing top 12 things for McCarthy. So, I mean,
Crazy.
Who knows? I mean, this draft's going to be a wild one for us. We're going to be live for it. We're going to be all enjoying kick back and watch that one together and have fun with it. I remember last year, me and Eric watched the draft together, and when Miles Murphy was picked, we were like, that's not the name we were expecting out. I was, like I said, I would have threw my house.
He wasn't even on my radar.
No, I had Michael Mayer right there. what did we have? Pick 29?
28.
28. Yeah, so I'm like, Michael Mayer is about to be a Bengal, baby. He's about to be in the stripes. Nope. Which next day, day 2, I'm like, Michael Mayer, maybe?
Shows you how much they value the tight ends. Like
That's
they
an-
know Burrow can. Like he made Uzama look. Obviously, Uzama just hasn't really played in New York, but he made Uzama look.
If you're
great.
going to take a tight end that early, they have to be coming out of college, prospect wise. They have to be a Kyle Pitts or a Brock Bowers.
Which I think we can possibly get Jatavion Sanders in the second round.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you make those moves in free agency, then you can draft a guy like Jatavion in the second round and not have to worry about, the next couple of rounds being so aggressive. Maybe sign a guy like Javon Foster in the 4th round and then, him be a solid backup to, the right tackle we just signed in free agency instead of.
And I was about to say something about Foster. Like, if you get him like 3rd round, maybe even the 2nd, if they're really high on him, it would help out. But I've saw something on Twitter. They're talking about all the Bengals draft picks, and past like the 3rd round, no one else plays.
No one plays.
That's the issue. Like,
outside of McPherson.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like Deontay Smith, I liked him. Dude really isn't that good, I guess. I mean, he doesn't really play. It's like they have like no depth on the O line.
It's like
They
wasted picks.
Yeah, you take these guys, and none of these guys can do anything. Like, if they have to come in during a game, I'm like, oh well, that's horrible. It's over for him.
Yeah,
they just got to get better at draft. Like the Chiefs, I look at the Chiefs. They excel at taking guys later, and then them ending up playing.
I mean, that's really how you look at it. Like Super Bowl teams, like from rounds 3 to 7, how do they draft? Because everybody hits on round 1 and 2 eventually. I mean, those guys are day 1 starters. Like, you're not really. I mean, yes, you're evaluating talent, but your first round pick 9 times out of 10 is going to play at least majority. He's going to end up seeing the field. And when you hit on those guys like Pacheco, obviously is the big name for the Chiefs. That's a Super Bowl champion.
Dude, that's a running back I would love to have.
I mean, it's just like that's just how you can see the difference between a good team and a great team.
And if Cincinnati can just figure out how to, I don't know, just draft better, get guys that can contribute. Almost right away, yeah.
But then again, I mean, my thing, like, you never know what these guys are going to do once they get to the NFL. You got like players like Bo Callahan. You know what I mean? And then, Tom Brady. I mean, obviously, you look at him. He not the greatest athlete. Fell to 200th pick. So I mean, you don't know. I mean, Johnny Manziel is a 1st round pick. You look at some of us like Cedric Boye. We drafted him 1st round. Billy Price. It's just
Ross.
John Ross. It's just what I don't know if I want to blame John Ross for his failure. If I had to be completely honest, like
They just didn't really use him right.
he played 1 snap,
Fumbled,
and then Marvin Lewis never played.
And then he gave us that glimpse of hope. The one
But
season.
it's like going back to Billy Price. Like the Bengals forced a draft need at that pick.
Yeah.
Because Ragnow, I wanted Ragnow
And he went
so
back to
bad.
us.
He went right before. I'm like, man, who are they gonna get?
Now
Probably just crap
Dumbass
his head.
Lions.
And they took Billy Price, and I'm like, oh, okay. They reached on him because they thought center was a need, and that's what you go to the draft. You draft BPA.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the good thing,
So it's just the
difference between like that draft class and like this draft class, our needs right tackle. The thing with that draft class was centers in that year were, far in between. This year we have a potential of 4 right tackles. Right tackles, not even just tackles, but right tackles that can go 1st round, and like Mims, Guyton, Latham, Fuaga. Hell, there's probably a few more. I mean,
I like Foster. I like him.
I mean, he doesn't have a 1st round grade, but
I like him though.
he's definitely a good guy.
Same with D tackles too.
Yeah, like there's the positions we need are a premium in this draft, but I don't want to go into the draft forcing a hand of this is what we have to get.
And we're stuck with this guy because we absolutely need it. So it's like we're reaching on that guy.
I would just rather go into the draft with, we have Michael Winu, we have Matabuke or, some other defensive tackle like Sheldon Rankins. I would like Tier Tart.
And that's why I said bring 2 of those guys in, still draft one if they're still there. Like, and then because obviously you're going to sign them to like a shorter, you're not going to sign them the long term. Like the most, it'll probably be 2 or 3 year deal. And one of them will probably be like a 1 year. And so you just Newton or whoever we were to get would just replace the 1-year guy and be a dog for us. Hopefully.
Yeah,
You
so
can never have too many guys in the trenches.
yeah, so once you get past that, once we get past free agency and kind of go into I want to go into the draft a little relaxed. You know what I mean? Being able to be like, oh well, we picked that guy. That's cool. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like feel like we're forced.
We're forcing our hand.
We're forced. Hopefully, and then you gotta, as a fan, you have to sit there all off season. You have to wait until rookie training camp. You got to wait till preseason and then game time to see how this guy develops. Then you got to sit there and like, well, maybe we should have taken another guy.
Yeah.
But maybe if we would have done better in free agency, we wouldn't have been forced to take, et cetera.
Yeah. It all goes together.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think this is the first year I've really played free agency into importance for the Bengals. Really, just because I'm so tired of seeing other teams make moves that are game-changing moves,
yeah,
to say the least. And I just want to be aggressive. And, a lot of people are ESPN and Fox and all them are, the Bengals are the team that have proven to beat the Chiefs and can ruin their three-peat chances. But as a fan right now, I'm just not too confident they are.
You can't just stand still.
Well, yeah, I mean, insane.
You know what I mean?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
I
As a fan, as a football guy, you have to know that you have to have a strong trench game. You have to have winning players. You have to have a team. The culture's set. Zach Taylor's already built a great culture. It's just the field, what they put on the field. So
consistency too. I mean, when you go into free agency, you want to get guys who are going to make impacts right away.
Yeah.
Why else would you bring them in? If we can bring in guys who are going to elevate us to that next level, to where going into the draft, okay, we have some options. Like you had said, we're not limited to one guy, one position. I should say position. It kind of just A, takes the pressure off the front office, and B, kind of gets your team like, okay, we can win. Like we can do this. I mean, we've already had that mindset, but how would they feel going in? Like, man, we really don't have any holes. Like, we have no holes.
Yeah, we can do BPA in the draft. We can go in the next season. Depth is there. You know what I mean? With depth,
somebody gets hurt, we're not like sweating it as bad. Like,
yeah, I mean this year, I mean it's like, dude, if once CJ Reader went down, it was horrible.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. I don't want to see Josh Tupou out there. I don't want to see Zach Carter.
Tufle.
I like Jay Tufle.
No, so do I.
But
I don't want to see those guys.
I want to see them in the rotation, not on the field 24/7.
Yeah,
obviously when Burrow got hurt, everything changed. But I mean, it's just if we had a defense that could have really stepped up for us, I think we could have made the playoffs possibly.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%.
You win that game against the Texans.
But I mean, you look at prime games like when we played in Pittsburgh.
Should have beat them.
Oh my! Our defense was horrible. We couldn't stop Mason Rudolph, and that was the worst. That was the worst game I've seen all year.
And
where you can't even stop.
When the game right after they fired Matt Canada, Freiermuth was torching us.
That was
fire in the middle.
That was I think was that Jake Browning's first start.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I mean, I don't want to put too much blame on Jake Browning for that game because our defense. I mean, we allowed Freiermuth.
That was their first 400-yard game in how long for the season?
Forever.
And that was like the only one. I don't think they had another one in the rest of the season. They might have, but
maybe when they played us again.
When they played us again, probably.
Like I'm more stressed about the defense than I am the offense. I'm just gonna put it straight like that.
Burrow's gonna be back, so that kind of puts my mind at ease a little bit. No matter who the product is out there, if he's out there,
Burrow makes them look good.
It's gonna start clicking.
The Bengals need another guy that can cover tight ends. I think that could be Dax Hill.
Yeah, I think
he's way too fast to get burnt by a tight end.
When we had Trey Flowers used it, but that was his exact role, and he knew what to do, and he played it well.
Yeah, that's what the Bengals need back.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if you draft or if you sign a defensive tackle, and if you sign a right tackle, or if you sign people for agency, you can draft a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry,
one of those
taller corners who can cover a tight end. You can draft Kyrie Jackson.
It would be awesome if we could draft an all-pro corner. I think Cam Taylor-Britt could be there one day, like caliber. I don't know if this corner is deep. I mean,
he's definitely. I'd say Cam Taylor-Britt's biasy, maybe tier 2, tier 3 right now. There's only maybe 4 guys in tier 1.
DJ Turner showed flashes like in the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
like in the first.
How cool would it be because Kool-Aid's going to be a dog. No matter where he goes, he's going to
him and Teron Arnold. I mean, those guys are going to be good. Nate Wiggins, the first round talent for corners.
in general.
honestly, I feel like there's not a lot of duds in any spot this year, like
Yeah,
first
it's deep,
round
man. It's
wise.
deep.
It's a real deep draft class that a lot of people can hit on. And I know a lot of people have like their criticisms, and that's every draft class ever. But up until like the 32nd pick, I feel like everyone can get a quality starter.
Everybody's going to get a stud in the first round.
That's just how it's going to be this year.
Patriots and Raiders seem to draft Cole Strange, like when they draft him.
Yeah, but
is that
you gotta think
he's a
Cole
dog.
Strange
He's
working
good.
his way to an All-Pro.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? So,
but like the Raiders picks or what about
Patriots, though, it's a
Yeah.
new philosophy in New England, though. So who knows how they're going to draft now, with Mayo.
you have no idea what they're going to do with the third pick. You don't know what they're going to do with the second round.
Same with the Raiders. I mean, now you have Marvin Lewis in there as the assistant head coach.
Yeah.
He's going to have a say. I mean,
You don't know what they're maybe they don't like Bo Nix. Maybe they don't like Michael Penix. Maybe they just stick with Aiden O'Connell for the year.
They got in the field sweepstakes like rumor mill.
I think they would. I think they get quarterback personally.
Yeah,
They have to.
I think they do.
Because they already cut. No, they ain't cut Jimmy G, but they said he ain't gonna.
Oh, he's already suspended.
Oh yeah, he got suspended. Oh,
Yeah,
I
so he's
forgot
definitely
about
not
that.
going to make the roster. Yeah.
Totally forgot
I
about
think they do keep Aiden O'Connell, and I do think they do. They're going to draft someone, but then, like I said, like you just don't know.
I can see them trading up
Trading
Being one
up.
of the teams
Where
that
are they at
like-
right now?
like 9.
No, Bears got the 9th pick.
They're like top. I think top.
I know the Commanders are like saying they're fielding calls. I don't know why they would just take Drake May with that new front office. I think they're just going to take Drake May. But I know there's some teams up front, like maybe the Patriots, that are willing to trade back.
The
for
Commanders-
the right price.
The Patriots should definitely trade that.
I'll tell you what teams should do is teams should be calling in for Sam Howell.
You
He's
think
young.
so?
He's younger than Michael Penix. He's younger than Bo Nix.
13.
You can get Jane Daniels there.
13.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if I don't know all 13.
Go first 12. Who's first 12?
So you got Bears, Commanders,
Drake.
Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants,
Cardinals said they're taking Martin.
Titans, Falcons, Bears,
Falcons are getting Jaden Daniels if they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get Fields.
Jets, Vikings,
Vikings
Broncos.
need one too.
Vikings are
unless they
getting
bring
Jaden
Kirk
Daniels
back.
If Jane Daniels is there for the Broncos.
Yeah,
It-
Broncos.
you know what I mean?
And the
They're
Raiders.
just-
So the Raiders are going to be looking at
Teams are
Bo
going to
Nix,
want to trade up. People are going to be desperate
Nix,
to trade up in this draft class.
McCarthy.
But think about it where they're at right now. You look at the teams after the Raiders. Who would draft Bo Nix or Michael Penix after that? They might feel confident that they could go to the second round and get those.
Yeah,
Get
that's
them.
true because you got like New Orleans, the Colts, Seahawks, Jags, Bengals. I mean, none of them really.
Seahawks, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think it's the first round pick though, this year because they have
I'd seen somewhere
Rams, Steelers maybe at 20. But
I think somewhere the Steelers would take a quarterback.
I mean, I think a lot of the quarterbacks are going to talk about
Yeah.
like all of the
Top
start.
tier.
Yeah, like
And well, that's what we need too. We need
more
quarterbacks to
quarterbacks
go.
So that
Quarterback
Quarterback
to
to go off the board right away.
yeah, because it's going to get to the point where after this draft, especially. Like, quarterbacks aren't going to be as much prime as much. Like teams aren't going to need to draft a quarterback as high.
And like there's teams like that can probably sit back and be like, well, we Shadur Sanders next year, Quinn Ewers, see what Quinn Ewers does this year. And I mean, they might be comfortable sitting back. Like I feel like the Jets, I bet you the Jets are probably banking on trading up next year for Shadur or Quinn. So
Yeah, I think Shadur will be a good NFL quarterback, but that'll be a later topic.
yeah, definitely a later topic. But
He's not even. Yeah.
all right, next week, couple days before we leave for the combine, we'll definitely put some combine content out there.
Who we're looking at.
For sure. Make sure to get your Dead Threads t-shirt. As I've been posting a lot, Dead Threads. I love this shirt a lot.
That's awesome.
As you see on the bottom of the screen, use code Cincy Stripes for 10% off on any. If you're a fan of any team, if you want, Chicago Bears shirt, if you want a Stanford football shirt, a North Carolina basketball shirt,
The
get it.
Colorado shirts are sick.
Yeah, make sure you get that 10% off. The Toronto Raptors shirt on there is super sweet. I've yet to get it. There's a Pittsburgh Penguins shirt I need to get because I'm a Penguins guy. But sorry, I root for one Pittsburgh team.
Since he needs to get a hockey team.
Since he gets a hockey team, it's over, dude.
We're talking about it.
I'll be the biggest
one of the
hockey
teams,
fan.
Yeah.
Probably going to send. I mean, we could.
Like we
go
have
to
this,
Cyclones
like we have the Cyclones, but,
But not an
I want
NHL.
NHL. I want the big
So that's
big
like-
thing.
I heard like some NBA rumors. If we get an NBA team here, dude,
Oh, it's
I think
over.
if we get one, we get the other because then we'd have
we'd have arena.
we'd have
Yeah.
we'd have every,
better
we'd have
arena.
every major sports team.
Yeah,
Brand new one.
Brent, we need a brand. Heritage Brent
Heritage
needs
Bank's
swiped,
done,
and
yeah.
I do that now before any decisions get made. Build a new arena, so
It just sits empty.
So-
like
you know what I mean. So people are enticed for it. But
Man, just brand new empty arena.
yeah, right. We got this brand new empty arena. I wonder if we got rooms available and stuff.
Yeah, it's like the best of any of them.
Like, oh man, Post Malone can perform here.
Yeah.
But Riverbend, Riverbend's redoing their whole
yeah.
venue. They're
nice.
taking up Coney Island's old
Mhm.
land, and they're turning it into a huge.
It's like Riverbend Music Center or something like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be big for
Probably
Cincinnati
more
too.
stadiums
That's gonna be
too.
huge for us. Yeah, bringing in more people is
More
exactly
revenue.
what we need. But that was a fun one, boys.
First one.
Almost hitting an hour.
Yeah.
It's getting late for us, but definitely a fun one. We'll be back next week for sure.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter, our
Yeah.
TikTok, subscribe on our YouTube.
Yep, for sure. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Talk all day on